Hello, my name is Eileen Peterson, she, her. I play Nora in Doll's House and Doll's House Part 2.
My name is Ryan Scott. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm working as the dramaturg on this production of A Doll's House and A Doll's House Part 2.
Okay, my name is Michael Gravois. My pronouns are he and him, and I play Torvald Helmer.
We talked a lot in rehearsal about how you can't separate the two, especially because we're doing them in rep. So to ignore one would be wrong, and to ignore the journey between the two would just be a little tone deaf. So we cross-reference them in everything we do. There are a lot of callbacks, a lot of little moments that will happen throughout that you'll be like, oh, I remember that from one, or oh, I see that foreshadowed, and how that played out in two. And I think it's really interesting as we keep going to see those evolve and grow and point out new ones.
Poor Torvald. He has been burned. He is angry, he is bitter, he is filled with a great sadness and a profound fear. He's afraid of more loss in his life. And that's caused him to distance himself from society, distance himself from his children. He won't even get a dog because he's so afraid of loss. So when Nora comes back to seek this divorce, she says, you know, I did the hard thing by leaving. And he's like, no, you didn't do the hard thing. The hard thing would have been to stay and to tough it out with me and figure that out. That's what a marriage is. That's what a true marriage is. Part 2 is done in this contemporary language in order to, shed light on the themes of the plight of women and men, the state of marriage, the state of relationships. And that's one of the things that I love about doing these plays in rep is Part 2 really shows how relevant this 150-year-old play is today and across the world. It's performed for the past 150 years, and I love hearing the echoes between the two and kind of revisiting these characters to show what happened to them and what impact did this profound act that Nora took 15 years earlier, how did it affect them?
I think it's more than just parallels. I mean, it's the same conflict, it's the same journey. She is where she is in 2 because of the events of 1. You know, she's taken 15 years to discover who she is and what she wants from life, and when the 15 years ago events come back to haunt her, she wants out because she's discovered that life that she was looking for, and she got it, and she's happy, and she doesn't want to be tied to those things that she left all those years ago. So it's more than parallels. It's just a continuation of her journey.
Well, Hnath and Ibsen have a lot in common in terms of they both have, for lack of a better word, sort of a punky sensibility in that they like to shock and they like to build an expectation and then completely subvert it. A Doll's House is structured like a melodrama until it's not. You believe you know who the archetypes are until you don't. A Doll's House Part 2 looks like a continuation of A Doll's House until you realize it's not. They're in the same way that Ibsen subverts melodrama, Hnath subverts the expectations by giving a completely, totally acerbic, sardonic, comedic tone. It's incredible. There's an amazing tonal and language shift that occurs between the two. I think that's created a mammoth task for the actors and for Irene. They are finding continuity, are attempting to find continuity where I don't know any was intended to be found, which is an amazing feat on their part. These aren't plays that send you home feeling good about the way you think about the world. They're plays that send you home with more questions than answers, and they beg you to cogitate.